Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Praveena, for the introduction. Um, so, um, Hello, my name is Poornima N, and I'm working as IB Visual Arts Facilitator for the past 2 years. Um, so, when I take IB as a curriculum, everything is transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary, where we will not learn anything as subject specific, but we will make a lot of connections with other subjects to make a holistic learning approach. So here today, I'm going to explain about a few of my engagement and share with you how enhancing learning through interdisciplinary approach um, works in IB classrooms and how you can take it forward to the classrooms of other curriculums like CBSE or IGCSE as well. So the topics that we are going to cover today is the definition. Then I'm going to share a few of my classroom engagements with other subjects and the benefits of having a transdisciplinary approach or interdisciplinary approaches in the classroom and a few tools and resources that we could use in our classroom engagement that makes our teaching learning easier. So start with the definition. What is transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary learning? So, interdisciplinary learning in education refers to integration of knowledge or transfer of knowledge and skills perspective from multiple academic disciplines. So, it can happen between various subjects. Like it can happen between arts and math, arts and music, music and dance, music and mathematics, mathematics and chemistry. So you can make a lot of connections in terms of concepts, in terms of skills and knowledges. And it also keeps the classroom fun and engaging. So let me start with one of my engagements when I taken this forward for my primary classes. So this is one of the engagement that I did for my grade 1 11 students. So when we talk about IB, we don't have subjects in primary like physics, chemistry, mathematics, and social studies and so on. So everything comes together with one subject called unit of inquiry, where each theme will talk about either science, either history, either humanities, global perspectives. So everything will be combined together. So in one of my visual arts classes, I tried this engagement where we were dealing with the topic called texture. So we were learning to create artworks with different textures and materials like salt, loose parts, plastic waste, and simultaneously the children were learning about waste management in their unit of inquiry. So how we can make connections between art and this particular topic was the challenge for us. So we tried making this salt art activity where the children got so excited to do because of the way it is created. They love to play with a different materials rather than just using a brush and painting. So they love pouring the salt, creating a pattern. And the most important thing is where it laid the foundation for their understanding for properties of matters, which we call as matter and materials, the solid, liquid, and gaseous states of matters. So this engagement was the first when I started doing as I joined in this IB school. So yeah, that is how it goes. So it created basic foundation of the understanding of properties of matters and materials, and also it kept the classroom more fun. So next is through mathematics. So I have tried this integration of um, symmetry in mathematics, the concept of symmetry in mathematics with art, how we can learn symmetry through art. So the engagement that I was doing in my class was portraiture, basically, where we play with lot of proportions, measurements, sizes, and so on. So how it can be applied with the symmetry, so that they will have the hands-on practice and understanding of symmetry better. So we have done an engagement where we ask the children to use all the techniques, the axis lines, and proportions to create the portraiture in one side. On the other side, it should be completely asymmetrical, so that they come to know the difference between symmetry and asymmetry as well in art. And in mathematics, they can understand, okay, it's not just about patterns, how asymmetry and symmetry can be seen in our day-to-day life as well. So this is great for level of integration. Okay, this is one of my favorite integration that I did so far, which is creating a recipe book. So this is a language level integration that I did with my grade 4 level students. So in this, the option that I've given my learners is to go research about few cuisines across globe, and they can choose any one or two recipes, and they have to write the entire recipe in the language of the region itself. Say for example, if it is a Japanese dish that they are writing about, then the entire recipe and methodology should be written only in Japanese. So they have been true risk takers, because I never expected. I thought, because just for a grade 4 level child, I thought it would be so hard for them to go and move beyond their boundaries and go and research about something like this. But I thought they will still stick to whatever languages that they are doing in school. Like we have three different languages that we follow in our school: Tamil, Hindi, and Spanish. But they have been risk takers, and they chose to do recipes from East Asia like Japan and Korea, and they have tried writing the recipes in Korean and Japanese as well. So that is one of the favorite engagement that we did in our class, and this is we did for their assessment. Yes, and this is one more fun activity that I did for history integration for the grade level 3. So at that time in their unit of inquiry, they were learning about explorations, how exploration happen in every aspects of life. So for this, I have taken them for a scavenger hunt for them to understand how exploration happened in art during the prehistoric era. At the time, how people used to go around to different places to find whatever objects that they are able to find, and with the availability, what tools that they could make to create art. So I've shown them a few cave paintings as such, and they were thinking and they were telling me like, "Ma'am, this could have been done like this. They must have used twigs. They must have used coir to do this, because I can see the texture from the texture itself that only with the coir or this particular tool, this texture can be obtained." So I have taken them for a scavenger hunt, and they were so much excited to go around the campus, find small things like shells, some leaves, twigs, feathers, and they have created their own tools and dies to do artworks. So, and they have tried doing small artworks and stuffs using whatever materials that they have found and created the tools out of it. So it was one such fun engagement that we had, and yeah, that is what about it. So so, what are the benefits of transdisciplinary learning? It makes the learning more relevant and meaningful rather than studying subjects in isolation. The transdisciplinary approach itself will encourage collaboration and synthesis across different fields of studies. So as I told, it can happen between maths and other subjects, chemistry and mathematics, chemistry and dance and mathematics. So it can keep varying like that based on the concepts and context behind it. So, and also it helps to make connections. So, and it develops critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, and communication skills. Through this, a child can develop a higher level of thinking, and it will help them as they go keep moving to their higher grades, and it will help them to refine their understanding levels also. Right. So, um, very honestly, I will not use any tools and resources because for integration particularly, because we do spend time in our school to sit and collaboratively work with the teachers, um, where two subject teachers come together. We share what we are doing in class, and we will talk about how we can make connections, how we can make engagement together in the class, having two concepts put together in one engagement. So when two minds works together, then the work becomes easier, and we also learn a lot through these engagements, and we can keep thinking of how we can do it next time much better, like whether we have to use any visible thinking routines to understand the level of understanding of students, how we can incorporate metacognition into it. So many things are there for us, but I personally prefer these three tools. One is Smithsonian Learning Center. If so, whatever examples that I have shown you all so far is done for primary level, which is from grade 1 to 5. But Smithsonian Learning Center, that website gives you n number of resources that you can take it forward for MYP and HS classes, which is middle years program and higher secondary programs also. And yeah. So Teachers Pay Teachers is a website where you see a bunch of resources that are shared by the teachers, whatever engagements that they have done for integration across the world. And but the only thing is you have to pay to get the resources. And obviously nowadays our the present best friend for all of us is the one AI tool, which is the Chat GPT. Just put the engagement that you're doing in both the ends and see how you can make connections to it. It will give you wonderful plans of how you can take it. It will even give you the resources like what you can use, what are the prompt questions you can ask to the children to make them think more into this. So yeah, that is what it is. Thank you so much for having me here today to share my experience, and yeah, I feel grateful for that.
Thanks, Ms. Poornima. Can you close the PPT and turn on your camera screen?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah. So as a layman, please consider my questions like that.
Yeah.
And I see no audience here, like whatever I prepared and I read about integrating the visual arts into the interdisciplinary learning. Prepared some questions. So you have spoken about the benefits, right? How do you think visual arts can enhance critical thinking skills across different subjects, ma'am?
Okay, how it can be, okay, when I say it will develop critical thinking skill across the subjects. So when a concept is taught in a particular subject, say for example, you are teaching oscillation. So if you are teaching oscillation in physics, they will just look at it just as a concept, and they will say, okay, this is what oscillation is. They will not think anything apart from oscillation being a concept in physics. But if you, or even if you show them the pendulum that we use in physics labs, okay, this is what it is. This is a pendulum. This is how oscillation works. But if you actually engage them with an art activity, like you did the pendulum in a paint bottle, take it out, and if you keep moving it, it will make multiple lines and it will automatically create a pattern. So who will not enjoy coloring? And they will feel much more engaging to that, and it will also help them build a thinking of, they will start thinking, okay, I'm doing something like this. Okay, with oscillation I can create an artwork. What else I can do with this? We have done an engagement in art, applying a concept from physics. So where else I can do like this? So they will start building their thinking in that way. So with one engagement, that is something that we help them to make connections. With that one engagement, they will start making n number of connections on their own. So that is why I said it will help them to develop their critical thinking. So even if we don't, do an integration with oscillation in dance, they will automatically start just remembering the engagement that we did in visual arts. They can make their connections with dance automatically. So that is how it works.
Right. So my next question is also connected to the same, but you have given, the practical example related to dance and everything, learning the concept. Um, can you give some more practical examples of successful interdisciplinary projects that incorporated visual arts, other than, like, yes, you spoke about pendulum, right? So
Yeah.
any other examples that come across your mind, ma'am?
There are multiple examples. One such examples I would like to say is, I have two different examples. So in our grade 5 level of learning, the children were learning about migration. They learned about what migration is, what are the reasons, causes, and consequences of migrations as such. And they have specifically inquired about a few incidents, major incidents, where they with what they could understand what migration is and how it created an impact in society. So for that particular unit, I did an integration with them in art, like how migration have impacted an artist's life, keeping an example of the life story of the famous artist, Indian artist M.F. Hussain, like what made him to move out of the country, what is his art style, and so on. So there, one of the visible thinking routines helped me. I used a visible thinking routine called Zoom In, where the students will be shown. I have shown them some pictures of M.F. Hussain, like all the paintings that he did, and I told the reasoning that he got death threat because of these paintings that he did, and he apparently, because of those death threats and things, he had to move out of the country. Then they were able to make connections with so many things, and they started asking questions. What would be the reason for this? As adults, we know there are who people who will not be at that point of time, who will not be able to accept the style in which he did the Hindu gods and goddesses images as being a Muslim. So we can understand it to our level, but as a 9 or 10-year-old children, they were thinking like, "Ma'am, it is looking very normal. What is this? What is there in these pictures that people got offended and gave him death threats that made him to move out of the country?" That was the first question that raised. Second thing, they have come up with a wonderful question that I have never expected. Is they were telling, "Ma'am, I think the ones that gave him the death threat could be Muslims, because he is a Muslim and he kept constantly painting Hindu gods and goddesses images. So the Muslims got offended and thinking that these are very fond of Hindu culture than Muslim culture, so that they might have given them the death threats." So I was wondering, seeing that, oh my God, how well they're able to what extent they are able to think. We couldn't imagine these kind of things, questions that raise in their mind as soon as they see all these context and pictures in their mind. So that is one such example. The another example is um, with grade 4 level learners again, grade 3 level learners again, we did is where I was teaching them Madhubani art. So I gave them introduction about what Madhubani art is, and what would be the style, and they have done the patterns of Madhubani arts in one of the classes. And apparently in their unit of inquiry, they were learning about disaster management. They were learning about natural and man-made disasters. So Madhubani art is, if you take the subject matters that are depicted in the Madhubani art, it would be about ceremonies, events, day-to-day lifestyle, war, battlefields, all these things will be depicted. So they were able to make connections from what they have learned in Madhubani art and what they are being learning in unit of inquiry as disaster management. They very beautifully, illustrated a disaster, be it a natural or a man-made disaster, in Madhubani art style. We cannot even imagine a 7 year or 8 year old child, the level of their understanding about the natural disaster, how they can show it in Madhubani art style. Adapting to a art form itself is not easy for that age level. But they were very excited, and and they did a very good job. If I actually I should have added it in my slide. Unfortunately I forgot it. Now, just now, as you asked me, I'm thinking I should have been adding that also in the next time. So these two engagement is something that I find very interesting apart from what I have shown in my PPT.
Right, ma'am. So I'm sure you are enjoying, like, with your words and explanation. I'm sure you are loving your job and everything. But
That
sometimes,
is the beauty of transdisciplinary learning. More than making them enjoy, you will enjoy more learning. Learning, you will learn a lot basically in the class
right,
also.
right, I'm sensing that. But again, not everyone, but in everybody's life, like in every profession, like there are some challenges, right? So how can educators overcome challenges in implementing visual arts integration in educational curricula? So at the end of the day, you need to meet the standard of the curriculum. So how do you do that, ma'am?
So integration can happen. See, there is no boundaries in doing that. Maybe I can understand. Be it a CBSE syllabus or IGCSE, we have a particular structured curricula that we have, and we have to follow, and we must finish all our portions. Even we will be rushing to complete our portion. We don't even think, okay, whether the children are understanding it or not. I will give you this worksheets. I will give you this homework. You do that. Just by marking them, we will understand. We think that we are understanding their we get to know their understanding level, but that is not it is. So being a passionate educator, I wanted, if you are thinking out of the box, like apart from keeping a track with your syllabus, keeping your deadlines in your track, you also have to keep in mind that the understanding level of each child matters. So because you know yeah, obviously, because when I take um, our Indian curriculum like CBSE or state board or any other syllabus, arts and sports are not sports as such as art. Art is not being given so much of importance than any other subjects. Whatever you ask, the parents will come and just stand in front of math teacher, language teachers, and subject teachers, because that is what is important, is what they think. But through transdisciplinary learning, their understanding level, their thinking skills can be enhanced, is something that everyone should understand. At this point of time, it is quite a bit difficult, but there are organizations, people who are coming forward to create awareness, like how it is important to have an interdisciplinary connection between subject nowadays. So it will take a few years to create that strong impact among the society, to make everyone understand how all subject matters in the development of a child. So I wouldn't say it will all change overnight, but it's quite a bit difficult, but slowly, if we take it forward, it is possible.
So what would be the impact of visual arts, ma'am, on, on students' creativity and innovation?
In students' creativity and innovation, I would say, be it a 6 years old or 16 years old, if we give a box of crayons or paint and give them a textbook, on the other hand, what they will choose, do you think?
Crayons or whatever. Yeah.
They will love, obviously, if we give them if we give them a phone and the book, they will definitely choose phones. But if I just want to cut out that screen time, and if we give them paints and colors and given a book next to them, they will definitely choose and paint, because be a 6 years old or 16 years old, they love things that are funful.
Yes.
So through arts, if you engage a child in art, they start focusing well in what they are doing, and they will pay attention a lot, and they will enjoy what they are doing also. So art will enhances not only the understanding in subjects, but it is more like a stress buster for them. So learning something full of stress and learning something as they enjoy doing it has a vast difference. And that is what it is. That is why that is how it creates an impact. They will enjoy what they learn, and through that enjoyment they will fearlessly start asking questions, make connections. So if they are fully focused, if they are strictly very studiously sitting and doing something, their mind, if they are not getting distracted from here and there, then there is no point of doing. Then what is the point of just learning something if they are not able to make connections with other things? And the most important thing nowadays, we it is very relevant, is making connections with the real life world, right? So in that way, using arts in teaching methodologies helps, and it creates a lot of impact in students' understanding level.
Mhm.
And
So,
it keeps the classroom more engaging and fun-filled.
okay. So what strategies can schools or institutions use to promote collaboration between arts teachers and subject area teachers, ma'am?
Okay, so this something that we follow in our schools, because being IB school, it is mandatory for us to have specific time to come together, sit and do collaborative meetings. But it doesn't mean that we will not talk between, because we will plan something during the collaborative meetings, but at times we need to change or tune in our plans, because of we find, okay, this is not seems to be going so good, so we need to make some kind of changes in this plan. So we can have something called as bubble talk, where if during our free times, if we are in the room having discussion time with other teachers, or we are sitting and working together in the same place, then we can have interactions like, okay, we can just have a bubble talk. Okay, hey, I'm doing this in my subject, what are you doing? And we can start discussing about the concepts and how we can make connections. Nobody will say no if they are getting benefited for their subject, especially when it comes to math or science or being anything. Their own thing is, okay, my children should understand this concept. Unless or until you are helping me to make them understand, then that's fine. So nobody says no, and it will be interesting. Once you start doing it, then you will not get rid of it. You don't want to get rid of it.
Right, ma'am. So parents play a crucial role, of course, like, the mother is the first teacher or the father is the first teacher of the child. So how can parents and communities be involved in supporting interdisciplinary learning through visual arts? What do you want them? How should they encourage them? Of course, like they send them for art classes, everything like that. But what can be more, the contribution from the parent community or the society, right? Because different children are with different learning needs. How can they support the visual arts, ma'am?
Definitely, parents are the first educators for a child. Teachers comes next, though we spend more time with them more than the parent. So see, there are things which we observe in class, if we can just in an engagement, if we observe, if we monitor the entire bunch of students in a class, we will get to know, okay, this child is doing this, just this child is doing this. We can observe all these things. Sometimes we will feel like, okay, this child needs more support than the others. But apparently, when I had interactions with my students and the parents, they used to tell me, ma'am, did you teach something like this? Because he was doing something else with this. I would like to share it with you, and they will give me a photograph of what they have done so far. So I have taught them paper mache in one of the classes to one of my grade two children. I have taken it forward, and at apparently at school we have done one or two paper mache cups and baskets. At home, his parent has shown me a photograph with a basket full of paper mache cups, because he got very fond. He is very fond of doing that after a point, and he kept doing it. So whatever newspaper that they buy at home, he will not allow them to send it to shops or to throw it out. He will ask them to. They were saying, "Ma'am, he is asking us to nowadays keep it safe so that he can use it to make the paper mache." So parents can not have that much of knowledge in subject specific except for a few, but what they can do is, if a child is showing some kind of improvement, or they are taking action and they are taking their own ownership of their learning, to support them. That is what I said. In our most of our Indian curricula, art is not being given much of importance as the other subjects like math or science or other subjects as well. So the parents must understand that for a child's understanding and development of their thinking skills, it is important to let them engage in all the activities that they face in everyday life. Be it they going to the park and playing somewhere. If they are falling down, let them fall down so that they learn. Do not stop them from falling down. The same way it happens if a child is taking time to, take a crayon and scribble, or taking a paintbrush and paint somewhere. Do not let them stop. Let them explore. So they have to understand that they should be calm, because children will be children. At times they will test our patience. We will be on our nerves. So it's okay. That is how they learn and they grow up.
Right, ma'am.
That's what I said. It takes time, because now, as what I'm doing now, there are organizations and educators who are coming forward and raising awareness to make everyone understand what the impact of interdisciplinary learning, and it will start changing in another 2 or 3 years.
Yes, patience is much required for anything. So that ends the question answer round, ma'am. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. And though the questions were repetitive, you have explained well, giving more examples and more information. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. We will end the session now, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting.